Quick disclaimer. Some dark voodoo happened. I don't know what, because I was unable to recreate the issue no matter how much I tried, but my microphone audio was clipping like mad in this video. I won't bore you with the details. I'll just say I redid the whole video, except for the parts where I listened to the song for the very first time, and the immediate initial impressions that came after, for genuine reaction reasons. I have reduced the audio damage as much as I could, so it's no longer awful, but it's not good. And again, that's just the microphone audio. The song is fine. Lastly, before I play the reaction footage, I will be going over the official live video and then analyzing the music to the best of my abilities. Then I will check out the live acoustic version to see what the differences are. One of you suggested I do that, and I thought it was a neat idea. Alright, off to it. Oh, that's new? Okay, alright, that's not new. Finally, something familiar. I was getting worried for a second. But in a good way. Okay. It's much slower. Okay, nice, nice. She's still going. What? Nice. Damn. Wait. Nice. Okay. Every time. Alright, let me do the thing. I imagine that last part wasn't in the studio version. Alright, that was something new. Initial, very fresh, immediate impression. The first thing, the one main thing on my mind after hearing this, the harmonies were so good. Not just the ones that were like obvious, but why don't I tell you about it? Hi, it's me again. Different shirt pasta. I wrote the analysis part before I heard the acoustic version, and there are some references to it. So I will proceed with the original script again to keep this as close to the original as possible. I will also wear these slick, stylish shades so I can read what I wrote instead of trying to memorize every bit. Because I fear if I don't do this, my soul will depart from this vessel. Besides, they are pretty slick. Alright, as I said, I'll be checking out the acoustic version after this, but I think I already understand. I have heard, I think, 5 BAND-MAID songs in total, but 2 of them I don't even remember because that was before I was making videos, and one of the remaining 3 is a collaboration with The Warning, but the intro of this song immediately struck me as different. Maybe this is closer to the usual BAND-MAID stuff and the other songs I've heard are the outliers. I don't know, but this song is way more calm than the other stuff I've heard. And I won't say slower, even though it felt slower, because it's not actually slow. Okay, here's something that I think is really cool that you can do when you listen to new songs that you've never heard before. Pay attention to the intro. Music is storytelling. Although storytelling is one of those things where you can call anything storytelling and it would make sense. But point being, you all love BAND-MAID. That's why you tune in and listen to some random people from across the globe listening to their music and talking about it. But to the band, that's not how it is. They wouldn't be here if that's how they view things. Let's just say, just like with all storytelling, they need to start with 2 things, hook and a promise. The hook is the part that makes people want to listen to more of the song. And here I have a little bit of BAND-MAID specific trivia. In one of the interviews I read or watched, I don't remember which one, Konami said that in today's market, you need to grab the listener with the very first few notes. I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember her exact words, and besides, her original words were in Japanese anyway. What she was saying is that you need to hook the listener immediately. That's what the hook does. The hook hooks. The promise is another concept, which I won't go too deep into, but to keep it short, we can say that the promise is setting the tone of the song. Or some other art, it's not a music-specific concept. Meaning, if a song starts with shredding at 195 BPM, you're probably in for a fast tempo song with prominent technical guitar play. If a song starts with a somber guitar melody and soft vocals, it's probably a rock ballad. There's a million ways to start a song and a million ways to expand on that. And that's the fun part. When you're listening to something new next time, pay attention to how it starts and how the artists evolve on that. There are no rules in art, so anything can happen. It's a lot of fun, at least for me. As for puzzle specifically, yes, I'm finally gonna talk about the song. The song starts with this bit. I don't know what to call this. I don't think that's any of their instruments. I think it's some electronic music creation. It gives me cyberpunk, synthwave, dark wave, or whatever wave vibe. It starts off weak, and then it grows in power, until it shuts up for 2 drum hits, followed by the rest of the band. And that thing is also still there. That's there to set up the song, so to speak. Palette cleanse from the previous song, if you will. So the sounds of this song can come in the right environment to create whatever effect they desire. The next bit I find quite interesting because it's not something I usually hear. The tabs for this song are available on Songsterr. I'm not sure how accurate they are, but I'm going with what they say, which is both guitars are in drop C tuning and both guitars are playing the exact same thing in the first bit, where drop C sharp tuning basically means lower pitches of all notes across the guitar compared to standard tuning and heavier feel, at least for the rhythm sections because of 6-string power chords. Anyway, point being, the guitars drive the melody, but they are not playing high pitches. The bass certainly isn't, and there are no vocals, so what do we have on the high end then? Cymbals. Yep, they stand out so much in this part. There's also that electronic music thing still there that also plays hard on the guitars, but the cymbals are just in my face. That's quite an interesting choice, I think. At some point, the lead guitar takes over with a massive change, going from the heavy sound of the rhythm to the thinnest string and playing 16th notes, which is to say, many high-pitched notes played fast. And still, the cymbals stand out the most, probably because the guitar repeats the same notes over and over, so at some point my brain got used to the sound and started paying attention to the cymbals again. I think that's what got me to expect a calm-ish song. They still did the attention-catching stuff with the guitar, mostly. That's because it's easier to clearly notice than the cymbals for me. But the guitar repeats the same thing. The rest is cymbal hits and solid, heavy rhythm between the rhythm guitar, the bass, and the kick and snare drums. So what I'm getting is, yes, we'll play high pitches, but that's not the heart of the song. As a result, I suspect I will enjoy the acoustic version of the song more, as that would be closer to my expectations of the song. No cymbals, no high-pitched guitar inserts, just the chord progression and the vocals. Although it might be too stripped like that, we'll see. I'm excited to find out. But first, there's plenty more song left to analyze. Let's hear the intro before I get into the verse. Alright, that's how it goes up. Drum drum boom. Cymbals. There's the guitar. It kind of stands out. But now the cymbals come in and the guitar is just doing the same thing. Alright, the intro ends and guess what they do? They execute on their promise from the intro. The first verse is literally just simple vocals, the rhythm guitar, kick drum to keep the tempo, and a few notes on the lead guitar, which seems like a decently long list, but there's essentially no drums, since the kick drum is playing the same thing the click track in their ears is. There's no bass at all, and the lead guitar plays 3 notes per bar. Those notes do stand out though. I'd say they are what gives the verse its color. I wonder what they'll do with that verse for the acoustic version. Unless they have 2 guitars, then they'd probably do the same thing. If it's 1 guitar though, both guests coming up, either they'll sneak in some harmonies, if they have someone to do that, or Psyche will have to sing a bit differently, since the vocals will be the only focus. Fun fact about this verse, Psyche is clapping her forearm with the beat of the kick drum. Musicians and their sense of timing on display. Anyway, the last line of the verse transitions into the pre-chorus with the vocals raising in volume, I think. That last line is also in English, so the change there also grabs attention. And she accents every word, I think. It's possible it just feels that way because of the other stuff I mentioned. I think there was a guitar slide as well? Maybe? Anyway, in the pre-chorus, Misa is finally allowed to play. Psyche sings faster and Kanami has ditched the 3 notes per bar playing to instead play more high notes per bar. And those notes take a lot of attention, which I think is a weird choice. They kind of fight for attention with the vocals until the second half. Maybe that's the point? I don't know. But when the vocals changed up a bit in the middle of the pre-chorus, things kind of normalized. For the transition into the chorus, Akane slapped one of the cymbals to announce Miku's progressively more aggressive chugging, assisted by some drum hits. That build-up is there to create an expectation, then disappear for the last line of the pre-chorus, when it's just Psyche and some rocking sound. I don't know what that is. It's like if you hype something up and then you shut up for a few seconds to let the tension build. Then you commence with whatever you hyped up, which in this case is the chorus of the song. Alright, verse and pre-chorus. Let's hear them before I jump into the chorus. Little top of it, isn't it? For the chorus, all sounds go up. Cymbals are being slapped, the lead guitar is making fast, high-pitched noises again, but on top of all those noises, the vocals. And of course, the bass and the rhythm guitar are playing the lower ends. But the vocals, they're on top of everything, and they're singing a new melody as far as my ears can pick up. Psyche did a great job there, it's really pleasant to listen to, but I have to say, perhaps that's simply a subversion of expectations that drives my focus there, but Miku's harmonies, wow. To me, that's what really filled up the chorus. Although, going back to the acoustic predictions, I don't know who's playing the guitar there. It might be Miku and she can do the harmonies, but I think even without those harmonies, the chorus would sound great, especially considering that a lot of the noises we hear here won't be present. Then for some reason the chorus ends with that electronic music sound again, and Konami doing some bends for a bit into many high-pitched notes. I think there's some compositional genius that evades me there. I thought the chorus sounded fine as it is, without that addition. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they tried it and they decided that it needs something. And maybe they just wanted to add something extra. It really feels to me that this song should have been a cleaner rock ballad kind of song, but they tried to make it into something else. That is a 100% subjective opinion, so take it as such. Anyway, there's a cool sucking sound to move us into verse 2. Let's hear the chorus on the sucking before I move on to the next section. Goes for so long. We have this. Well, it's nice. Just not sure why it's there. So, and of course, verse 2 is pretty much identical to verse 1 in every conceivable way. Yeah, right. It's BAND-MAID. That thing is nothing like verse 1. The singing is different, the rhythm guitars are different, and what Miku is doing there is actually really cool. A few really quick notes per bar, while Konami is smashing some palm muted notes. Misa is playing this time, Akane is not just a metronome, and the same vocal transition into the pre-chorus they did last time comes with a Miku harmony this time. In the pre-chorus, the singing sounds the same, but they've parted with the competing lead guitar, where the guitar still plays, but it's not such high notes, and it exists neatly underneath the vocals without disturbing them. For the chorus transition, and this is not the first time I noticed this about BAND-MAID, they went with a smoother transition into the second chorus. They didn't build up anything, they didn't have an instrumental pause before the chorus, they just went right in. I mean, they played some high notes on the guitar to go with the change in the vocals for the last line, and there was a bass slide, but it was about as different from the transition into the first chorus as it gets. I recall they did something similar in Hate as well. Then the chorus sounds the same to me. And that's another thing I've come to expect from BAND-MAID. They'll change everything up, but not the chorus. Which makes sense, of course. That's the metaphorical signature of the song. The memorable bit. Why would they change that? Let's hear those bits and move into the solo. Listen out for the quick notes on the rhythm guitar. So nice. The harmony transition. He just went right into it. Okay, the solo. I love the way it starts. I'm not a huge fan of the many high-pitched notes played very fast for most songs. It's great in some, but for most other songs, I don't really focus much on those notes. What BAND-MAID did here is my sort of thing. Well, the first part of it anyway. The part where Miku plays. I like the heavy melody, the occasional tactically placed loud cymbal hits, the single kick drum. Perfection. There's also some knocking sound effect, like one of my neighbors is nailing something. Then Konami slides in with the usual soul stuff. The entrance was pretty nice, and the point where she went into the bends was cool. And some more of the usual, then some cool staccato notes, which basically means short notes that sound detached from each other. Pay attention for them. some more of the usual, and then we're out of the soul. And when I say the usual, that's the more technically difficult parts. So I feel bad brushing that aside, but at the same time, I don't know what to say about that. I do wish my hands could do what Konami does. But alas. Anyway, all the while, Saiki is doing the cool dude pose with her back turned to the crowd, patiently waiting for her moment. When she starts singing, Konami is still doing some stuff. The finishing bend there during the vocals was really nice, I thought. The bridge is a mix of everything being toned down with the vocals going slower, but the lead guitar is singing the high notes again, creating sharp contrast. If I were to look into that, the guitar could represent the tense eagerness and want of the speaker of the song. But that's breaching into lyric speech, and we are not there yet. The vocal harmonies were top-notch and brought the vocals up quite a bit, where my favorite part of the second half of the bridge is when Akane starts smacking the drums faster and harder, like she's building up to something, then diffuses that with a smack on the cymbals. She does that a few times, making me feel like something's coming, until eventually it does lead to the absolutely bloody biblical harmony of the last Don't Cry. Even the camera shot is fantastic. That is such a great moment of the song. The drums build up anticipation so well there that it made the lead guitar sound intimidating. There at the end, the bass also pops up into focus for the last build up. Then they make all the space for the harmony. All of it up to silence for the second part of the last line. Sort of. Some of the instruments did come in at the very end to lead into the chorus with the vocals, but it was mostly just a vocal harmony moment. The chorus was the usual stuff. The post-chorus was the electronic music thing with the bends, which they did previously, but this time with added vocals. Let's hear all that. Oh, that's so nice. This first part is really cool as well. That's the staccato notes, and went with the rhythm as well. Listen for the drums. Okay, now the acoustic version. How wrong was I on my predictions? Let's find out. That's already different. How did I start? Is that even the same song? That's Konami? Nice. That is so different. She's good. Wow. That's similar. Nice. Wow. She's still going. That sounds like an entirely different song, and also the same song at the same time. Wow. Here's the bridge. Let's see what I do with that. Wow. Nice. Okay, alright, well, I won't be going bit by bit with this one, but did I mention wow? That was... It felt like they surgically removed the vocals and they just put them here, but everything else was different. I like how where they did all those different transitions in the like full song, I guess I'm gonna say, the non-acoustic version. And here, instead of like doing something, what would I do anyway? They just did harmonies for the transitions. And Kanami's pretty good. I mean, I know, like I read some stuff. I know she used to be a vocalist before BAND-MAID, but she didn't like it. She's still good. But yeah, the instruments sounded, I guess predictably, entirely different. But it was still the same song because of the vocals. And I'm not sure if the vocals were, I'm gonna say, this good in the other version, but I couldn't notice so clearly because of all the other stuff. Or she just added more to the song, so to speak, with the vocals, knowing that there's only vocals and guitar here. I'm not sure which is the case, but Psyche sings really well, in case you didn't know. That was very interesting. Thank you for suggesting I do that. It was definitely a very interesting experience. And I'll say it's closer to the feeling I would have expected from this song, but at the same time, I can't say, oh, this is what the song should have been or some such crazy thing, because they were just so different from each other. Also, interestingly, they did so many harmonies that at the end, at the last Don't Cry, which is the big, cool harmony of the other version of the song, here they didn't do a harmony. I thought that was interesting as well. And it was probably the right choice, because with the way they were singing the song, it wouldn't make much sense for that part to be louder, but at the same time, if it's not, then it would be kind of the same as the other ones, and then it wouldn't stand out. So ironically, if they wanted to stand out, they just don't have the harmony. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Alright, lyrics. I'll keep this short because we've been here a while. One of you guys told me that this song is the story of the other woman in an affair with a married man. I'm not sure if that was explained in an interview or something, but I'm not quite getting that vibe. Sure, I can look into words like then embraced me and assume there's more that wasn't mentioned. Or Don't Cry in the bridge could be the speaker of the song talking to her love interest rather than to herself. And perhaps he's crying because he spent the night with the speaker of the song and now regrets it. And maybe that's why she also says, I just want to remain in this dream with no end. Then at the end of the song, there's the line, memories aren't enough. So maybe she's talking about memories of them spending the night. I can see that. But there isn't really anything explicit enough to sway me from my much preferred unrequited love interpretation, where a hug is all the speaker got, where she's telling herself not to cry in the bridge. And the dream she's talking about is her fantasies, while the memories mentioned at the end of the song are memories of simply spending time with her love interest in a non-romantic way. That way, I don't have to roll my eyes at the love interest who cheated on his wife, because in my interpretation, he never did. That way, everyone is a reasonable individual and nobody stepped out of bounds, which makes the story of the song more tragic and less morally dubious. The poor girl is in love and suffering for it. The guy on the other side is married and faithful. It's just a sad situation. A proper tragedy with no villains. In conclusion, Puzzle is a nice song. I do have some alternate preferences for some of the bits, although we can say that the fast high notes represent the inner turmoil of the speaker of the song given her situation. But nah, it messes with my vibe of the song. That said, I don't really mind the guitar bits all that much, and the rest of the song I quite like. So it's still a good one in my book. And who knows, maybe the lead guitar bits in question are acquired taste and I'll learn to love them. Won't be the first time that happens. If you watched this far into the video, you might be interested in the following few things. First, since I did it last time and some of you seem to enjoy it in the comments, here's what the list looks like currently. I kept Puzzle in so you can see how many votes it took to do Puzzle instead of from now on. Also, to clarify, this is simply a list of all songs that were suggested for me to listen to in the comments. If something not on the list gets mentioned, I will add it. And at the same time, I might not go over everything on the list. I might even choose to ignore the list altogether due to circumstances, such as if I'm hyped to hear something that's not doing well on the list. I'll just listen to that thing. Anyway, second, if you want me to go overthink something, even if it's not BAND-MAID or not a song, you can drop it in the comments and I'll put it on a list somewhere. Third, if you think there's a better or more interesting way to choose what I check out next, you can let me know about that as well. And fourth, I got a random thought from seeing other people do it. Do you guys reckon it would be more enjoyable if I set those videos as premieres instead of just posting them? So whoever is interested can watch the new videos together with a live chat and all that. I'll be there as well, of course, so I can pull the plug in case something goes horribly wrong or something. And also to say hi, of course, say hi. At the same time, that would mean I'll have the video ready and uploaded, but unavailable to watch until the premiere time, so you'll have to wait. I'm also not sure how YouTube recommendations work when it comes to premieres and videos after they have been premiered. If you don't have notifications on for my channel and you don't care for the premiere, maybe YouTube won't recommend the video to you once it's out. I'd assume an algorithm as sophisticated as YouTube's recommended system would make the distinction between I'm not interested in the Premiere and I'm not interested in the video. But who knows? Did I mention I overthink things? I do. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Take care.